Today, let's talk about something which may sound a little complicated to you, but if you pay attention, there's nothing complicated about it. It's very simple. You run the economics of your company, you run the economics of your business, of the country, as well as your household. The idea is to improve the quality of your life with as much as possible with the resources available to do it. Here also, the idea is to keep learning how to up your game of life. We'll talk about managing the economics of something that most determines the quality of your life. That's your mind. Most of the knowledge our mind possesses is conceptual. For example, if I say a red car, even if you aren't seeing a red car, your mind manages to come up with a picture of a red car, doesn't it? Further, if I write the word red in black ink, it doesn't affect your notion of red, right? So what does it mean? It means that things are independent of our conception or our nominal expression of them. Most of our scientific knowledge is also conceptual, rooted in concepts and their relationships. So this type of knowledge proceeds by abstraction, often far removed from observable reality. Abstractions are generally defined by irreducible minimum attributes. For example, vegetable is an abstraction, it's a general word for all kinds of vegetables, right? Similarly, person is an abstraction summing up all the types of people that we know of. So concept is the only currency in which we trade our thoughts. As conceptual knowledge is abstract in its very nature, it can't tell us much about the truth of things that our senses discover. Thus, it doesn't give much information about reality. Scientific laws of nature are mathematical equations describing the relationships between facets of reality. Scientific knowledge communicates abstract concepts necessary for the purpose of action to control matter and its motion. For example, a person opening a door with a control button may have no idea of the shape and substance of the door, but that wouldn't matter as the only objective was to open the door. Similarly, scientific laws are based on the consistency of nature's behavior and thus help us harness the powers of nature in the service of humanity. They help us control the nature. This is how scientific knowledge has transformed the world. However, this type of knowledge doesn't help in understanding the nature of reality and can't really help us understand the nature of life. For example, it can't tell us what's beautiful. The method doesn't work to answer certain moral or philosophical questions. In this case, knowledge has to be viewed from a different angle. Since matter and motion are only a part of reality, the knowledge that has been developed to secure the control of matter and its motion can't adequately address the whole reality, right? So some thinkers have suggested that intuition is the faculty to address complex, abstract questions. When intuition sparks, they say, our understanding rises above the conventional experiential limitations and we really begin to understand the nature of the universe and also who we are. I think that's a bit of overcomplication. I think it's simpler than that. Look, through the ages, our mind has evolved to primarily handle the practical conduct of life. Thus, it's prone to distort reality in order for us to control our environment. So, to be able to see things as they are, we have to begin by preventing our mind from distorting reality. The question then you might ask is, how do we control the mind? If we control the mind by the mind stays. The objective is to step out of the world of mind, somewhat like when Galileo said, if you can show me a spot where I can take my stand away from the earth, I can move the earth. Simple, right? Simple, like most things in life or life itself is simple, but it isn't easy. Try to empty your mind for only 1 minute and you'll see that it's not easy, if not impossible. The thoughts kept coming or keep coming, right? And as you try to control thought by thought, you're still thinking. This predicament is aptly described by Buddha when he says, mind is the slayer of real. And Buddha is right. Mind twists reality by forcing its own notions upon reality. Like fishers who are more concerned about the fish they catch than understanding what fish is. Our mind catches reality solely in order to be able to act upon it. As humans, we are hardened to think dualistically in terms of subject predicate equations. The lens of our mind determines the color of the reality we see through, or, or the reality that is visible to us through that lens. So, on the one hand, the mind has raised human to the apex of knowledge and discovery. On the other hand, the same mind distorts reality for us. So, how do we confront this dilemma? It's impossible to silence the mind's activity completely in our sleep. It's only when we get some deep and dream-free sleep that we feel fresh and rested when we wake up. So mind is fueled by energy and involuntary thinking tires us out. This reminds me of a well-known fable that will help you understand. It's about a dialogue between a snake and a scorpion. The snake asks the scorpion, despite the fact that your poison is far deadlier than mine, how come my bite kills and your sting doesn't? The scorpion replies, oh my dear snake, the reason is simple. Since I am blind, every object I come across I regard as my enemy and sting it, thus wasting my poison. Whereas you have eyes, and you don't waste your energy. Hence your poison is concentrated, and when you come across as enemy, you have the bite to kill it. The same economics applies to our energy and consciousness. I want your mind to have those eyes. Otherwise, the ceaseless friction of our thinking, feeling and acting mechanism continues to gnaw at our energy. The more we minimize this friction, the more energy we save. So if you could stop your involuntary thinking and feeling even for a while, you could save a great deal of energy. It's like a gardener weeding out whatever is not needed. So in order to preserve and better use your energy, you have to constantly pluck out the weeds of daydreaming, involuntary thinking, reflexive emotions, and mindless action. Therein lies the management of the economics of your mind. Because these mechanical freeloaders leave you too exhausted to function at a higher plane. We have discussed in our previous videos that the malfunction in humans' inner life is caused mainly by the ego. There's too much conceit in us that makes us think too much of ourselves and of our own importance. I too have been there, and most likely you too haven't been entirely immune to it. The ego preys on all of us in various guises. So we conduct ourselves as if we could shake the mountains to agitate the very planet on which we live or crawl like insects. Pride is a sickly spectacle indeed, whereas the truth of human situation is bad enough in Shakespeare's world. Therefore, dear folks, it's only the humble people who represent real humanity. The self-important egos are already lost. What then can we do about it? A person's awareness begins by inquiry. So you ought to inquire, what forces are acting upon me? Where am I headed? Did I come into being merely for the self-serving use of the five senses? If so, then life seems a travesty of evolution, right? And if not, then you have to ask, what does life offer to me and what can I offer to life? This is how we overcome our complacency. because the sleeper must wake up before making an escape. Without the awakening, we are perennially involved in acting upon the commands of our apparent wakefulness and can't heed advice from our deep self. That's no surprise, as we are too busy hearing what we should not be hearing, thinking what we should not be thinking. To be the master of your mind, you have to subject yourself to the discipline needed to clear up the clutter and mess that keeps sneaking into your inner being. When you do that, then you allow awareness to prevail in your life. Instead of being possessed by the demons of your thoughts and emotions, you possess them. It's a tragedy that instead of cleansing our existence of this rubbish, we keep on stacking it with more and more thinking and feeling junk. This mechanical friction is parasitic, and you know what it feeds on? It feeds on your energy. And it is only our ego that makes us complacent in this matter. Otherwise, we are wise enough to know, but not humble enough to act. So let me recap this for you. In order to be fully productive and focused, your mind needs to be calm and empty, just as only a still lake can reflect the image of the faraway moon. In this awareness lies the economics of your mind, which ensures an optimal exercise of your energy and which allows you to make nourishing choices in each moment of every day of a lifetime. Don't be daunted. It's not rocket science. Like I said, it's simple. Though it's not easy, but simple. All it requires is a will and some discipline. Just do it. Alright? Thank you very much. Now it's your turn to tell others how you manage your mind to its optimal productivity. You can share that in the comments below. Thank you.